If you're watching this right now on February 13, 2026, the breaking alerts flooding every major network, hold on tight because confirmation just hit the wires. At precisely 3:47 a.m. Eastern Time this morning, a team of federal enforcers, Deputy U.S. Marshals spearheading, flanked by 3 Secret Service operatives under direct orders from their agency director, and an FBI overseer locking down coordination, breached the Oval Office doors in a move that shattered 234 years of presidential precedent. Picture the scene unfolding in the dim glow of desk lamps. The ousted leader, solitary at the iconic Resolute desk, poring over stacks of papers, his face etched with defiance as the lead marshal steps forward, voice steady and unyielding. Sir, the Senate has rendered its verdict: conviction and removal from office. You're no longer in command. We're here to ensure a smooth exit from these premises. Will you proceed with us on your own terms? Eyewitness accounts from those in the shadows paint a raw standoff. The former commander-in-chief snaps back without hesitation, his words slicing the tension-laden air, declaring the action outright illegal, insisting his election by millions grants him unbreakable tenure, and challenging their right to even stand there. The marshal, unflinching, counters with constitutional steel, the upper chamber's sole authority to strip the executive through such judgment, activated just hours prior, now demanding execution without delay. This isn't personal, sir. It's the law in motion. Join us now. 16 pulse-pounding minutes tick by from that fateful entry, every second a test of the Republic's bedrock, until 4:03 a.m. sharp, when the White House doors swing shut behind him for the last time, marking the physical end to a saga that gripped the nation in constitutional agony. This wasn't mere theater or partisan score settling. It was the machinery of democracy flexing its ultimate muscle against a leader who dug in heels first, refusing the inevitable. The Secret Service, true to their director's ironclad vow, paved the way for this orderly handover, proving oaths bind to parchment over personalities. Alerts confirm viewer spikes worldwide. You're among the millions, piecing together how this pre-dawn drama caps weeks of brinkmanship, leaving one burning question: what nation rises from these ashes? And can the enforcers of this seismic shift hold the public's faith intact? To grasp the full gravity, rewind to the 12-hour crucible that ignited at 6:23 p.m. the prior evening, when U.S. Marshals first rolled up to the White House's northwest gate, only to clash head-on with Secret Service holdouts sworn to the outgoing chief. That gate standoff simmered into the night, a symbolic siege, mirroring the broader loyalty fractures tearing at federal seams. Tension peaked as darkness fell, agents trading glares and terse words, the air thick with the weight of divided allegiances. Then, at 8:47 p.m., the Secret Service director herself materialized at a fortified side portal, slipping inside to confront the presidential detail head-on. Sources whisper her directive cut like a blade. The Senate's hammer had fallen, stripping the man of title. Loyalty lies with the founding document, not flesh and blood. Obstructing duly authorized feds spells instant dismissal, potential indictments trailing in wake. No room for waverers. Choose the flag or the floor. The ripple hit immediate. By 9:34 p.m., a trio of detail agents peeled away, realigning to safeguard the incoming authority figure. 10:45 brought 2 more departures, thinning the ranks further. Midnight loomed, with just 7 lingering shadows around the former executive, their resolve cracking under the director's glare. At 1:47 a.m., she reconvened the remnants, ultimatum blazing: yield the path usher in the marshals for exit protocols, or tender resignations on the spot amid career-ending fallout. By 2:34 a.m., the last resistors folded, corridors clearing like a battlefield after surrender. 3 o'clock heralded the final choreography. Marshals syncing with Secret Service remnants and FBI perimeter squads, scripting a non-violent ouster while greenlighting measured force against any physical pushback. The Oval incursion at 3:47 wasn't rash. It crowned a methodical erosion of resistance, each defection a domino tipping toward enforcement. Viewers glued to live feeds and insider drips worldwide are validating this tick-tock in real time. Push notifications exploding because this pre-dawn precision wasn't victory for one side, but raw proof that even the mightiest refuse meets inexorable constitutional tide. The algorithm amplifies what grips you. Your eyes here confirm the pulse of a republic, reclaiming its guardrails amid the former leader's every gambit to cling on. As agents crossed that threshold, the Oval held not solitude, but a final inner circle. 2 aides, a private counsel, a lone strategist, all ushered out per protocol, leaving the epicenter bare for the ultimatum: stride out willingly or under escort. His retort echoed historic rupture. No voluntary yield, this smacked of constitutional treason. Courts and crowds awaiting his crusade, but no free will surrender to the desk. The marshal parried coolly. Law crystal, Senate sealed fate, enforcement mandatory, peace preferred over force. Rising then, he swept up relics, a sheaf of docs, cell phone, framed snapshot, voicing a parting shot at posterity's judgment, the populace unforgiving, this unlawful wrenching his reluctant steps under duress, far from finale. Flanked by marshals through West Wing shadows past mute Secret Service sentinels, he emerged South Lawn bound to a nondescript black SUV. No chopper pomp, no cavalcade flair. Sliding aboard as gates parted, White House liberated at last from its convicted occupant. 4:15 a.m. ushered the successor, not interim or deputy, but undisputed chief, claiming the Oval, inking the inaugural decree. Federal apparatus snapped to lawful hierarchy. Crisis quelled, machinery hums anew. Dispatch fleet to cabinets, agencies, commands. The decree thundered singularity of command, forward thrust imperative. Dawn's national security huddle at 6:08 a.m. rolled standard. Joint Chiefs threat rundown. Intel Chief global scan. Defense Secretary posture check. Routine. Reborn under fresh stewardship mere hours post-extraction. That briefing symbolized normalcy, clawing back from chaos. But as sunlight pierced D.C. skies around 7 a.m., the media leviathan roared to life, shattering morning broadcasts across the spectrum with indelible footage. The unmarked SUV gliding away at 4:03 a.m. Successor striding in at 4:15 a.m. White House communiques proclaiming crisis terminus. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, BBC, every feed pivoted to this unprecedented tableau. A sitting executive bodily evicted post-Senate hammer for stonewalling departure. International outlets amplified the quake. Al Jazeera headlined, U.S. leader pried from power after defiance. Le Monde dissected enforcement mechanics. Xinhua framed it as Yankee institutional implosion. Viewer confirmations poured in via apps and streams, millions dissecting pixelated glimpses of history's hinge, push alerts validating the surreal pre-dawn theater as ground truth. By 8 a.m., Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer commandeered a podium, voice resonant with vindication. The framework operated flawlessly overnight. Chamber wielding removal blade against recalcitrants. Rule of law trumping personal denial. Feds and service honoring vows to charter over chief. Interrogated on optics, he conceded aversion to forcible yank, but a firm necessity when apex defiance mocks chamber sovereignty. Execution tranquil, legitimate. Half hour later, at 8:30 a.m., Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, conviction voter, dispatched missive underscoring evidence torrent of high court flouting. 68 aye votes encompassing 17 GOP crossovers, deeming excision imperative. Refusal necessitated compulsion, his backing total. Chamber's excision blade now lethally keen. 9 o'clock brought Chief Justice John Roberts' terse Supreme Court bulletin. Chamber trial and guilty call adhered to charter mandates, verdict execution, buttressing branch autonomy and legal primacy. No further gloss, yet endorsement cementing trial and tugouts validity. 10 a.m. unleashed the displaced executive's juridical broadside via counsel. Ousted illicitly by rogue feds on rogue writs, chamber guilty rooted in sham ouster probe. Tenure endures, remedies exhaustive ahead, alongside electorate crusade. Signals unrelenting courtroom salvos, rejection absolute of status quo shift. 11 sharp saw the ascendant chief oval addressing populace. Fellow citizens, charter convulsion concluded. Chamber acted, oath affirmed, predecessor decamped. Supporter multitudes acknowledged. Queries rife, yet charter mandates embrace. Conviction excised, apparatus activates, schisms mend, institutional credence rebuilds, collective advance beckons. 10-minute soliloquy pivoted reconciliation, crisis surmount. These salvos crystallized fault lines. Institutional chorus hailing system triumph. Displaced chieftain priming rebellion. Airwaves electric with polarity. Global markets twitched. Dollar steadied amid volatility. Allies exhaled on continuity. Adversaries probed fissures. Domestic polls flickered early. Urban enclaves cheering enforcement. Rural bastions decrying putsch. Independents splintered on legitimacy. Service directors' pre-crisis pledge echoed prophetic. Office shielded, not occupant. Marshals dispatched. Edicts sans favoritism. Yet undercurrents swirled, whispers of internal Fed dissent quelled, military brass saluting chain intact. Viewer metrics skyrocketed, your screens aglow with dissection panels pitting constitutional purists against rights warriors. Each clip recirculated, fueling frenzy. Schumer's rostrum evoked framers' foresight. McConnell's nod, bipartisan gravity. Roberts' brevity, judicial neutrality. Ex-chief's defiance, rally cry. New steward's plea, unity tested raw nerves, post-polarization. As midday loomed, the Republic exhaled, yet inhaled uncertainty. Enforcers vindicated, but trust reservoirs low. Every broadcast loop underscoring fragile equilibrium forged in oval shadows. Forward gaze sharpens on 6 barometers charting recovery trajectory in ensuing epochs. Prime. Does the ousted mount credible juridical offensive contesting chamber writ? Filings alleging overreach compel benches to probe reviewability of senatorial doomsdays. Precedent quake potential. Secundus. GOP base embrace or excoriate. Surveys revealing supermajorities branding tug unlawful portend entrenched schism, cohesion phantom. Tertius, ascendant steward efficacy, approbation accrual. Adept helm-swaying doubters ratifies action constitutional. Stumbles amplify partisan ploy narrative. Quartus, Fed ranks or martial echelons balk recognition. Lingering mutiny intimates unfinished business. Loyalty voids perilous. Quintus, legislature codify ouster protocols. Perceived lacunae spur reforms, sealing ambiguities. Sextus, savants and jurists coalesce legitimacy verdict. Convergence enshrines canon. Discord perpetuates tempest. These metrics, dissected in think tank war rooms and cable crossfires, hinge on institutional sinew post-trauma. Early tea leaves, nascent filings teased in pack filings, base rallies chanting fraud, stewards' initial edicts crisp, yet poll bumps tepid. No overt Fed revolts, brass parades compliant. Hill murmurs procedural patches. Academia splinters 3-1 lawful. Viewer dissections and comment tempests mirror divide. Half herald enforcers, half martyrs. Yet these beacons illuminate path sans crystal orb. They aggregate pulses signaling heal or hemorrhage. Pivot to triune vistas framing long arc destinies. Vista primus, acceptance cascade, steward excels, tribunals rebuff assaults, sentiment reframes melee as mechanism vindicated. Annam hence, historic hiccup archived, bomb scenario. Vista secundus, chasm endures, moieties polarized, legit extract versus cabal coup. Displaced iconoclast galvanizes holdouts. Successor legitimacy hobbled. Credence craters chronic. Stasis tableau. Vista tertius. Foundational scar. Chamber blade dulled perceptionally. Successors wager high court slights survivable via grit. Charter enfeebled perpetual. Peril tableau. Each fork tantalizes punditry, healing via competence, stasis via symbols, peril via precedent erosion. Your real-time validations via trending queries underscore stakes, queries spiking on Senate removal court versus coup confirmation. Broadcasters loop these hypotheticals, fueling retention as hypotheses harden. Hill corridors buzz reform bills. Base aggregates mobilize petitions. Stewardship tests loom in address follow-ups. Global eyes fixated. Allies bolster continuity. Rivals scent disarray. Domestic fabric strains yet holds. Barometers blinking amber. Historical lens magnifies rupture. 2+ centuries, chamber thrice impeached, yet never excised. Johnson eked acquittal by Singleton nay. Clinton lopsided clearance. Prior Trump dual absolutions. Now, 68-32, 17 GOP defections propel first forcible expatriation. Theoretical blade actualized. Refusal futile against Marshall's mandate. Services office primacy. Framers' contrivance transitions theory to terror. Conviction substantive. Defiance doomed. Dawn tableau etches indelibly. 347 ingress, 403 egress, 415 ingress anew, 608 intel right. Capping odyssey from cabinet 20th invocation, high court scorn, exigency grabs, lower chamber cross-party lance, upper verdict with GOP schism, culminating physical reclamation. Apparatus prevailed, fortnights grinding, bipartisan probes, senatorial spine, service charter choice, enforcer resolve. Yet verdict bifurcated, restraint triumph or exceptionalism excess. Precedent bifurcates futures, fearful compliance or audacious mimicry. Presidency altered, irrevocable. Conviction, tangible peril. High court defiance, office forfeiture, hazard. Senators grasp party-piercing feasible, 17 precedents. Populace imprints 2026 convulsion, resolution via rule inexorable, resistance notwithstanding. Viewer cohorts dissecting feeds affirm endurance, Constitution tenacious, democracy resilient, republic advances, rule essayed to fracture, yet unyielding. Peril phase, enforcement roulette, eclipsed. Aftermath cascades, courts, policies, historiography demand vigilance. Analysis endures here as precedents crystallize, policies pivot, savants sentence. Not terminus, but pivot. Enforcers triumphed, sequelae span eras. Charter weathered utmost strain. Republic recalibrates. Cognizant mechanisms restrain apex recalcitrance, sans rupture. Future stewards heed. Blade bites. Extraction executes. Defiance, dividends dire. Your confirmation in surging views propels discourse. Debate endures. Vigilance vital.